say to me in Bowers Game
YouTube,
Corner.
I'm here again to read the rules, and today I'm reading the rules for Sushi Go. So, first we have contents, which is 108 cards, and for setup, you're going to shuffle all the cards well and deal the following depending on the number of players. In a 2-player game, deal 10 cards to each player. In a 3-player game, deal 9 cards to each player. In a 4-player game, deal 8 cards to each player. In a 5-player game, deal 7 cards to each player. Hold your cards in your hand secret from opponents. Place the rest of the cards in a face-down pile in the center of the playing area. Grab a piece of paper and pencil to keep score and designate one player as the scorekeeper. How to play? Playing a round. The game takes place over 3 rounds. To start a round, all players simultaneously choose any one card from their hands that they would like to keep and place it face down in front of them. When each player has done this, everyone reveals their chosen cards. After revealing cards, pass your remaining hand face down to the player on your left. Everyone picks up their new hands, and the next turn begins. You now have a new and smaller hand to choose from. Note: face-up cards remain with you until the end of the round, when they are scored. It is helpful to group cards of the same type together. Using a wasabi. If you choose a squid, salmon, or egg nigiri card, and already have a wasabi card in front of you, then this nigiri must be placed on top of the wasabi. This is to show that the nigiri has been dipped in wasabi and has tripled in value. Note: you may have multiple wasabi cards in front of you, but only one nigiri card may be placed on each wasabi card. Using chopsticks. If you already have a chopsticks card in front of you, you may take 2 sushi cards on a future turn. Here's how it works. Choose the first card you would like from your hand as usual, before everyone else reveals their cards. Call out Sushi Go and take a second card from your hand, also placing it face down on the table. Then all players reveal their cards. Before passing hands, put the chopsticks cards back into your hand. This means it will now be passed on and other players may take it to use again. Note: you may have multiple chopsticks cards in front of you, but may only use one per turn. Ending a round. When the final remaining card of each hand is passed on, simply place it face up with the other cards you have collected. Often, this final card won't be of much use, but sometimes an unfortunate player will be forced to leave you with something valuable. Now score the cards you have collected as follows. Scoring. Maki rolls. Each player adds up the Maki roll icon at the top of their Maki roll cards. The player with the most icons scores 6 points. If multiple players tie for the most, they split the 6 points evenly, ignoring any remainder. And no second place points are awarded. The player with the second most icons scores 3 points. If multiple players tie for second place, they split the points evenly, ignoring any remainder. Example: Chris has 5 Maki roll icons. Phil has 3. Amy has 3, and Lisa has 2. Chris has the most and so scores 6 points. Phil and Amy tie for second place and so divide the 3 points between them, scoring 1 point each. Lisa scores nothing. Tempura. A set of 2 tempura cards scores 5 points. A single tempura card is worth nothing. You may score multiple sets of tempura in a round. Sashimi. A set of 3 sashimi cards scores 10 points. A single sashimi card or a set of only 2 is worth nothing. You may score multiple sets of sashimi in a round, although that is very hard to do. Dumplings. The more dumpling cards you have, the more points you will score as follows. For 1 dumpling, 1 point. 2 dumplings, 3 points. 3 dumplings, 6 points. 4 dumplings, 10 points. 5 or more dumplings, 15 points. Nigiri and wasabi. A squid nigiri scores 3 points. If it is on top of a wasabi card, it scores 9 points. A salmon nigiri scores 2 points. If it is on top of a wasabi card, it scores 6 points. An egg nigiri scores 1 point. If it is on top of a wasabi card, it scores 3 points. A wasabi card with no nigiri on it scores nothing. Chopsticks. A chopstick card scores nothing. Starting a new round. Announce your scores from the previous round for the scorekeeper to record. Discard your cards face up beside the draw pile. The only exceptions are pudding cards, which you keep in front of you to be scored at the end of the game. Deal every player another hand of cards from the draw pile equal to the amount from the last round. Ending the game. After the third round is scored, there will be some cards remaining in the draw pile. These are ignored. Now it's time for dessert. Pudding cards are now scored. Puddings. The player with the most pudding cards scores 6 points. If multiple players tie for the most, they split the points evenly, ignoring any remainder. The player with the fewest pudding cards, including players with none, loses 6 points. If multiple players tie for the least, they split the lost points evenly, ignoring any remainder. Example: Chris has 4 pudding cards, Phil has 3, and Lisa and Amy each have 0. Chris has the most and so scores 6 points. Lisa and Amy tie for the least and so divide the lost 6 points between them, each losing 3 points. On the rare occasion that all players have the same number of pudding cards, no one scores anything for them. Note, in a 2-player game, no one loses any points for puddings. Only the points for the most pudding cards are awarded. And the winner is whoever has the most points after 3 rounds is the winner. In case of a tie, whoever has the most pudding cards wins. Variants. Pass both ways. To change how the players interact, simply alternate which way you pass the cards each round. In rounds 1 and 3, pass each hand to the left. In round 2, pass each hand to the right. 2-player variant. This variant features a third dummy player that alternates between players. Deal 3 players worth of cards, 3 hands of 9. Put the dummy player's cards face down between you as a draw pile. Choose one player to be the first to control the dummy player. When you're in control, draw the top card from the dummy pile and add it to your hand. Then choose 1 card for yourself and 1 for the dummy player. Your opponent plays 1 card as normal. Reveal cards and then switch hands, leaving the dummy pile in place. Now your opponent controls the dummy player by drawing from the pile and then choosing 1 for themselves and 1 for the dummy. Take turns controlling the dummy pile until all cards are played out. Play 3 rounds as described above, scoring as per normal rules. And that's the rules for Sushi Go. If this helped you out, please consider giving it a thumbs up. Also consider subscribing or even consider supporting the Patreon. But go have some fun and thanks for your time. This video is brought to you by all of my amazing Patreon supporters, and I would love it if you would join their ranks and have your name immortalized in the end of many of my videos for the end of time. But consider for only $1 a month. And as always, thanks for stopping by.